Your birth chart is not a personality test, it's a structural map. Most people learn astrology in pieces: sun sign meaning, moon sign meaning, rising sign meaning, then maybe Mercury, Venus, Mars, and very quickly the chart starts to feel crowded, like a list of traits that don't fully connect. But a birth chart isn't meant to be read as a checklist, it's a structure. When astrologers read charts, they aren't collecting meanings, they're looking for patterns. They're asking what repeats, what clusters, what dominates, what interacts. Because astrology becomes clear when you stop reading symbols individually and start reading how they combine. Think of the chart as architecture. Some charts are built around relationship themes, others around independence, others around emotional processing, others around structure and responsibility. You don't see this by reading one placement, you see it by noticing emphasis. For example, imagine a chart with multiple planets in Libra, strong 7th house placements, Venus aspects to Saturn, and repeated air element emphasis. If you read those one by one, you get fragments. But if you read them together, a structure appears. This chart may be organized around relational intelligence, around calibration, around awareness of others, around balancing personal needs with shared space. That's architecture. And once you see it, the individual placements stop feeling random. They start reinforcing each other. This is why two people with the same sun sign can be completely different, because the sun is just one part of the structure. The chart might emphasize relationships, identity, security, communication, control, exploration, or internal reflection. The dominant pattern shapes how everything else behaves. This is also why astrology often feels confusing at first. Beginners are usually taught vocabulary, but not structure. They learn what symbols mean, but not how symbols interact. So the chart looks chaotic, but once you shift your focus from meanings to patterns, something changes. You start seeing repetition, you start seeing emphasis, you start seeing tension, you start seeing coherence, and the chart becomes readable, not because you memorized more meanings, but because you started seeing the architecture. This is also how experienced astrologers work. They don't start with meanings, they start with structure. What kind of chart is this? Where is the weight? Where is the tension? Where is the repetition? What is the chart organizing around? Then the interpretation follows naturally. The chart stops being a collection of labels, it becomes a map, and once you learn to read that map, astrology becomes calmer, clearer, more grounded, not a personality test, but a structure you learn to navigate. And you might notice something interesting when you start reading charts this way. The question changes. You stop asking, what does this placement mean? And you start asking, what pattern is this chart built around? If this perspective resonates with you, you'll find more articles, guides, and structured astrology explanations on my website. I write about astrology as a symbolic language, not as fixed personality labels, but as patterns you can learn to observe and interpret. You can explore the blog, read deeper explanations, or start learning how charts are actually read as systems. You'll find everything at astralmoonmagic.com. And if you're interested in learning astrology in a calm, structured way rather than memorizing meanings, that's exactly what I focus on there. Thanks for listening.